We are diving deep today into what might be the single biggest productivity killer in the modern workplace.
And it's not what you think.
No, it's not email, it's not, procrastination. It is the meeting.
That humble meeting.
Yeah, and think about the paradox here. We organize these sync meetings with, the absolute best intentions.
Of course. You need to align the team, especially as it grows.
Right, but they so often result in just draining exhaustion. You feel busy, you've logged the hour, but you walk away feeling like you had a meeting about work, not like you've actually done anything.
You're just spinning wheels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our sources today kick off with this perfect story that just frames the whole issue. There's a manager running a weekly status sync.
A classic.
A classic. And he realizes the meeting has just evolved into pure silence, punctuated only by the aggressive click-clacking of keyboards as everyone is trying to multitask.
Oh, we've all been in that meeting.
We've all been there. And it culminates in this email, just blunt and painful, that says, honestly, this meeting is not the best way to spend time.
Ouch. But also necessary.
Okay, let's unpack this. That manager was trying to follow the rules of good management sync to team, but they were failing spectacularly. They were achieving activity, but not output.
And that brutally honest feedback, however sharp it was, it really exposed the rot at the core of so many organizations.
Right.
The real question we're tackling today isn't just how you run a better meeting. I mean, we can all make an agenda. The deeper question is, why does a meeting, which has a good purpose, turn into a place that actively kills energy?
Kills intellectual energy, yeah.
It's a profound shift in thinking. We have to stop seeing meetings as just this tax we have to pay, and start treating them like a major organizational investment.
And like any investment, it has to have a return.
A concrete, positive return. Exactly.
I find the psychology here just fascinating. The manager thought the meeting was a place to do work, but sometimes a meeting is where people go to unconsciously escape from the pressure of doing the actual work.
They're substituting activity for progress. And that often starts at the management level. You have to ask, is this meeting creating clarity, or is it just creating the feeling that we're busy?
Or a feeling of control for the manager.
Precisely. Is it helping the team move forward, or is it just helping everyone feel less anxious because they reported something? Mass synchronization is the easiest way for management to feel in control, whether that leads to better results or not.
And this isn't just a feeling of waste, is it? This habit has a measurable, staggering cost.
Oh, it absolutely does. The research is pretty clear on this. Leaders, especially at the executive level, can spend up to 60% of their working time in meetings.
60%.
60!
Just take a second to absorb that, you listening.
Mm.
That means the people with the most experience, the highest salaries, are dedicating over half their week to talking. That time is just gone.
And that's just the meeting itself. It gets so much worse when you factor in prep time. The sources point to executive boards where the total preparation time for a series of meetings can hit hundreds of thousands of person hours a year.
That number sounds like science fiction.
It does, but it shows you the massive silent cost of this habit.
That's the perfect definition of a toxic habit wrapped in politeness.
Yeah.
Everyone's too polite to admit their sinking time. You assume if it's on the calendar, it's destiny.
Right.
But that manager, from the start, the one who got the honest email, they were saved. Because after a few months, a bad meeting stops feeling like work and starts feeling like, history class.
Ah, yes. It's regular, it's long, and everyone is mentally plotting their escape. Which brings us to the core pivot. To fix this, we have to stop focusing on the purpose and start focusing on the good outcome.
Okay, can you break that distinction down? Because for most people, the purpose is the outcome. We meet to update progress. Seems clear.
It sounds clear, but the purpose is usually just a slogan, a shield. If your purpose is just updating progress, what's the actual standard of success? Ticking a box, the update happened, that misses the entire point of the impact. A truly successful meeting has to generate several measurable things. Increased engagement, reduced redundancy so people leave knowing who owns what, clear decisions, and, this is the big one, it has to result in an increase in working energy after the meeting. Not a decrease.
That reframes everything. We treat team energy and attention like they're infinite resources. We just focus on, did we review the numbers?
Yeah.
But we ignore the energy it takes to actually do the things we just talked about.
Exactly. If I leave your meeting and I need 3 hours just to recover my focus.
You've stolen my whole afternoon.
You have. The sources use a great analogy. A good meeting is like a happy family. It shares key positive signs. Did everyone feel their time was respected? Did they leave knowing exactly what to do next? Were they truly present?
Or were they just physically there while mentally scrolling through emails because the topic wasn't relevant to them?
Precisely.
So, if good intent isn't enough, we need to look at the structural flaws. What are these underground laws that make meetings fail so reliably?
Well, intention is cheap, but failure is highly structured. The sources identify 3 patterns that basically guarantee a meeting will be a drain.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's start with the first one.
The first law of failure is the curse of knowledge.
The curse of knowledge. Okay, so how does that show up in, say, a typical sync-up?
It shows up as speed and assumption. The presenter, they've lived with the data for weeks. They understand it inside and out, so they just fly through dense slides.
Right. They gloss over all the context.
They assume that because they get it, everyone else does too. And the result for the listener, they're always a step behind. They're thinking, wait, what was the y-axis on that chart? Or how does that number relate to last quarter?
And because all their brain power is just trying to catch up, they can't actually engage with the discussion.
You've hit the nail on the head. And the fix isn't to just talk louder or slower. That's a Band-Aid. The real solution is respect. You have to treat preparation as respect.
Meaning,
Yes.
send the documents ahead of time.
You must send them ahead of time. The data, the key slides, the questions. Give people the quiet time to process, to think, and to come prepared to discuss. Not just be lectured to. If you don't send the deck 24 hours in advance, you're just wasting everyone's collective brain power.
That's powerful. Okay, let's move to the second failure law.
Yeah.
I think this one gets at that feeling of the meeting being a stage.
That's it. Lack of psychological safety. The meeting stops being a workshop, a messy creative space, and it becomes a performance.
And on a stage, who performs?
The loudest voices, the extroverts, the most senior people. Meanwhile, the introverts stay silent. The new team members are terrified of asking a stupid question.
So you lose all the valuable input from, what, 80% of the room?
At least. And the group decision is only as good as the most confident person's opinion, not the best one.
But safety can feel like such a soft skill. How does a manager actually create it beyond just saying, be honest?
You have to engineer it. You set explicit rules of play at the start. You say, difficult questions are praised here. Disagreement is respected. And then you actively bring people in. Don't wait for volunteers. Say, Sarah, you're closest to the data. What are you seeing here?
You make it safe by demanding participation.
Exactly. You protect the space. Okay, that brings us to the third law of failure. This is the one every organization is guilty of.
Trying to kill too many birds with one stone.
That's it. Function confusion. Trying to cram way too many contradictory goals into one 60-minute slot.
So you're saying a meeting should really only do one thing well?
If you want a good outcome, yes. The sources outline 5 distinct functions that always get mashed together: decision-making, information sharing, feedback, idea generation, and relationship building.
And they all require a different mindset.
Totally different. Decision-making needs linear, logical thinking. You need the affected people and the clear decision-maker. But idea generation, that needs to be expansive, messy, non-linear. It actually requires individual thinking time before you even get in the room.
So if I start a meeting by sharing 40 slides of data, that's information sharing. And then I immediately say, okay, so what do we think? Should we approve the budget?
What happens is confusion and frustration. Your team is still trying to process the data dump, that's the curse of knowledge again, and you're asking them to immediately switch into a high-stakes decision mode.
You end up with silence.
Or a bad decision made by the person who processed the info fastest. You try to decide a budget, share a tech update, and brainstorm a marketing slogan in one meeting, and you will achieve none of those things. You just guarantee an energy drain.
That diagnosis alone is worth the price of admission. So we know the problem, we know the hidden costs, we know the 3 laws of failure. How does this redefine what management even is?
It forces a redefinition. We have to drop this idea that a manager is just the person with a packed calendar. In this age of saturation, management is about one thing: protecting the team's attention.
Why attention specifically, not just time?
Time is finite, we know that, but attention is more finite. Once a person's attention is fractured, say, by checking an email during your meeting, it takes a huge amount of cognitive energy to get it back.
Right.
Meetings are the single biggest consumer of collective attention. If you waste a team's time, that's bad. If you constantly fracture their attention, you cripple their ability to do deep work for the rest of the day. A manager who protects attention is a manager who understands value.
Okay, so to protect that attention, the sources lay out 5 critical rules for mastering the meeting. Let's walk through them.
Let's do it.
Rule 1, don't meet out of habit,
Yep.
meet for results. That gets right at that toxic routine.
Absolutely. It has to be an intentional choice, not an automatic one.
Rule 2. A good meeting must create 3 things: clarity, commitment, and energy. If you can't tick those 3 boxes after, it failed.
And commitment is the hardest one. You can get clarity by dictating. You can get energy with coffee. But commitment means people leave owning the next steps, even if they disagreed. And that only happens if you address psychological safety and the curse of knowledge.
Rule 3. Invite the right people and only the right people.
Yes. No more bodies in a room just for the sake of it. Only invite people who are directly affected, who can contribute, or who are making the decision. If someone is there just for info, send them a summary. Their attention is too valuable to waste on passive listening.
Rule 4 brings us back to what you said earlier. Preparation is respect. Send materials, the agenda, the questions, all in advance.
It's non-negotiable. If you don't respect my time enough to prepare me, I can't respect the time we spend together. You're basically using the group's time to do your own prep work, which is just organizational narcissism.
Yeah. And finally, Rule 5. Conclusion requires defined next steps.
This is what turns conversation into action. The meeting doesn't end with thanks, see you next week. It ends with who does what, by when, and what does success look like. Without that, the meeting didn't end. It just paused.
Now we have to talk about the fear that comes up when you start cutting meetings.
The connection fear. If we don't meet, we'll lose connection.
Exactly. People feel siloed. They lose that human element.
But that's a deep misunderstanding of connection. Connection doesn't come from hours spent sitting together, tired and distracted. It comes from feeling listened to, feeling respected, and moving toward a common goal.
That's a great point.
A sharp, well-run 15-minute meeting can create way more genuine connection than a 90-minute slog that makes people resent each other.
This whole deep dive really boils down to one thing. Time is finite, but attention is even more finite. Meetings consume attention, so they have to generate real, measurable value.
And if you're a manager, you're not just managing tasks. You are managing the team's spiritual life. Their clarity, their safety, their focus, the trust they have that the organization will use their attention wisely.
So what's the one takeaway for our listener?
I want to leave you with a really actionable experiment. For 1 week, try this. After every single meeting you attend, write down 3 things.
Okay.
1, what concrete result did this meeting create that couldn't have been done by email? 2, was my specific participation necessary for that result?
And the third?
3, my energy level after the meeting. Did it increase or did it decrease?
Wow.
If you repeatedly find yourself answering no, decrease, well, you need to understand that you are paying with your personal focus and your irreplaceable time for something that yields no profit. You're spending your life on a cost center.
That's the ultimate metric. The final challenge the sources offer is this. The most courageous act of a manager is sometimes just daring to cancel a meeting. So what meeting can you erase from your calendar this week? What does this all mean? It means the change starts not with a new agenda format, but with realizing that sometimes doing less is actually doing more.